This would change everything for the Miami Heat as NBA insider Bill Simmons has proposed a trade that has Heat fans fired up. So I'm going to break down this trade, which includes the potential of LeBron James coming back to Miami. So break all that down in this episode of Heat Digest, as well as discuss the potential trade package that Bill Simmons proposed, and it is absolutely crazy. Stay tuned for all that, but a quick reminder before we get into it to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 100 subscribers, so it means the world if you can do that. Without further ado, let's get right into this crazy trade proposal by Bill Simmons, and I don't even know where to start with this one. This has Heat fans fired up. It has all of us fired up. And if this is remotely possible, which I'm not exactly sure it is, this would, of course, change everything for the Miami Heat, not only this season, but going forward, really for the franchise. And let's just get right into the report that dropped. And this is from Bill Simmons on his podcast. I'll get to the exact quote here in a minute, but it basically has Bill Simmons coming up with a trade idea that sends LeBron James and injured Gabe Vincent to the Lakers in exchange for Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, a first-round pick. And again, this is via the Bill Simmons podcast. Now, again, this is ridiculous. I don't even know where to start with this. Obviously, we want the Miami Heat to make some trades. We're not exactly sure where they're going to be and where they're going to be standing in the trade market at the upcoming deadline. We've seen already some crazy trades go down, specifically the Knicks and the Raptors. But when you're looking at a trade like this, there is a million things to break down. And obviously we can preface this by saying that, is this trade super likely? Does Bill Simmons have some sort of insight and intel that is making him say that the Lakers and the Heat would be good partners for a trade, or that the Heat are progressing a trade towards LeBron? Probably not. But the fact that this is brought up makes you think and really makes things interesting for the Miami Heat. Now, I looked, and we're talking about LeBron James. Now, when you say LeBron James, obviously, arguably the greatest player of all time, all of this stuff. Now, when you're looking at this from a strict value point of view, it's not a bad return. You'd like to say it's not a bad return for the Miami Heat. Obviously, this is a phenomenal trade for the Miami Heat. Most Heat fans, I think, would probably say to do this deal and get it done in a heartbeat. But the question then becomes, how much left do you have of LeBron James? He's 39 years old. Obviously, the contract situation, he's not getting any younger. But at the same time, he would be arguably the best player on the Miami Heat this season. It would help with the depth. It would help with everything they need. You'd have Jimmy Butler, but you're also getting rid of a couple of key guys. Robinson's had a good role this season. Of course, Kyle Lowry, Jovic, and a first-round pick. And I saw a few Heat fans on the thread on Reddit talking about essentially, and I'm curious to see what you guys think of this, because my stance as a Heat fan is I'm not exactly sure where I stand on it. But when you're looking at this trade, would you be comfortable giving up a first-round pick and Nikola Jovic, along with, obviously, Robinson and Lowry, that's kind of for salary, in exchange for LeBron James? Now, again, the biggest thing here is how much LeBron do you have left? How much will you actually get out of him? Will he re-sign with Miami? If he re-signs, how long will he be playing in the NBA at a high level? You'd suspect he could go till 45 years old. And then you also have the Bronny situation, which we'll bring up in a second. But from a pure value standpoint, a lot of Heat fans out there would say they would not give up Nikola Jovic in a trade for LeBron James, which is a little bit ludicrous to me. But I ask you, if you're watching this video, comment right now, would you make this trade straight up for LeBron? Who do you think would say yes? Do you think the Heat would say yes? Do you think the Lakers would say yes? I think the Heat say yes all day. I think the Lakers obviously probably wouldn't say yes, which is why this trade wouldn't go down. But from a strict value perspective, I mean, it's not horrible for the Lakers. You get a first, you get a former first-round pick, you get Duncan Robinson, I guess, and then I guess at this point you'd be building around Anthony Davis in the Lakers and kind of transitioning into the next stage of Lakers basketball, which would include Nikola Jovic and I guess Duncan Robertson, if you consider him a centerpiece. And then whatever first-round pick, whatever year this would tend to be, whether that's 2024, 2025, whatever picks they have left and whatever pick the Heat would be able to send. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's very interesting. And this is from the exact quote from the podcast, basically saying I had LeBron and Vincent going back to Miami for Lowry, Robinson, Jovic, and a future first. Kind of do right by LeBron. There's a symmetry of LeBron going back to Miami 10 years later. If they could keep Jaime Jaquez, Caleb, Butler, Bam, Hero, and LeBron to that becomes a possible favorite in the East. I would argue that is probably the favorite in the East. Maybe the Celtics would obviously be probably number one, but you have Jaime Jaquez. We all know how great he's been. You have Caleb Martin, you have Jimmy Butler, you have Bam, you have Hero. You're keeping all the key guys, and you're getting LeBron James in a trade where you keep Jaime Jaquez, a guy who could win Rookie of the Year, maybe depending on how you value some of the other guys, specifically Chet Holmgren. But you're getting LeBron James without giving up obviously Butler or Bam or Hero or Jaquez, which if you're the Lakers and you see this trade, you would probably maybe even replace Jovic with a guy like Jaime Jaquez, but then the Heat would obviously say no, which is probably why this trade is not going to go down because of how unrealistic it is. But it would change everything for the Miami Heat. And when you're looking at where the Heat stand right now, this would be a phenomenal deal, which is why I think you maybe do it. And then there's also the report that the Heat are already going to Bronny James's games, taking notes on him, and doing all of these things. You also have the Bronny James perspective of it. Maybe if they get and they trade for to the Lakers for LeBron James, maybe LeBron requests and forces his way out of LA to get back to the Heat. So then the Heat can then draft his son in Bronny James going forward, because we can see there's already some mutual interest there between the two teams. And again, Bronny James is a solid player. He's doing solid in college. He's not a game changer by any means, at least right now. He could be. We saw LeBron have that quote the other day, I think it was yesterday, saying that Bronny could make an impact on the Lakers right now, given their current roster construction. We have fans saying that Bronny is better and would be better than Taurean Prince, better than Cam Reddish, all these things. Let's be real here. Bronny's probably not going to be what his dad, obviously won't be what his dad was, but who knows how good he will be. He could be a solid NBA rotation player, a 3-and-D wing. But if this is, these things maybe are lining up a little bit. And again, I don't think Bill Simmons has any intel regarding an actual trade a trade is brewing. But I mean, Larry Robinson, a first, and Jovic, interesting trade. Obviously, the contract situation, LeBron is not getting younger, but then if you're going to, I mean, I'm sure myself, tons of Heat fans out there, especially myself as a Heat fan, who wouldn't want to see LeBron James play for their team? No matter what team you're a fan of, you would want to see LeBron James play for the team. I don't care if he's 50 years old and he's still playing. You would want to see LeBron play for his team or play for your team. And then if you get to see his son play too, because LeBron has been very vocal about Bronny and him playing with Bronny in the future, whether that's in LA, whether that's in this case maybe with Miami, it would be very interesting and up in the air. So I'm very curious to see what you all think in the comments section below about this trade. I'd do it. Would the Heat do it probably? Would the Lakers do it? I highly doubt it. You'd suspect if the Lakers are actually going to trade LeBron, they'd be able to get a good package. But at the same time, like Bill Simmons kind of said here, if you're going to do right by LeBron and he wants to go back to Miami, however many years later, 10 years later, maybe they would do that deal. I mean, this would probably be a package. Then would Lakers ask for Jaime Jaquez? Would they ask for Tyler Hero? You'd suspect they'd maybe try to get Tyler Hero off of it, but Hero's having a phenomenal season. Jaime Jaquez is having, obviously we know how good Jaime Jaquez has been. So it's an interesting talk to have. And when you're looking at Jovic, I saw a couple of people saying they wouldn't trade Jovic in a trade for LeBron, which I don't know why. Obviously, Jovic, he has a great future. He's only 20 years old. He got drafted, and he's super young. He was 19 in his rookie year, showed flashes. His free throw percentage dropped this year. It's only 9 games. Not going to harp too much on Jovic. But the big point here is that you're getting LeBron James back. And this is kind of just a fun video kind of discuss. It would absolutely change everything. The proposal itself is a little bit ridiculous. I don't think the Lakers are trying to trade LeBron unless LeBron absolutely forces his way and just completely forces his way out of LA, in which case the Heat would obviously be a great suitor. And if that does end up being the case, that would be very fun for the Heat. But that'll wrap up the video. Let me know in the comment section, would you do this deal? If you wouldn't, what kind of, what's your reasoning and what kind of moves would you change in that mock trade? But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video tomorrow.